Hello everyone, my name is Courtney Harris and I'm going to be presenting a guide to FERPA, which stands for Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. We're going to talk about keeping student information safe. In this presentation, we'll talk about a FERPA overview. We'll talk about the difference between an education record and directory information. I will provide some FERPA clarification, provide some tips for teachers, and then lastly discuss Millard School District policies. As I said earlier, FERPA is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. It is a federal law that protects the privacy of student education records. It applies to schools that receive federal funds through the U.S. Department of Education. When it comes to the parents' rights, FERPA affords parents certain rights with respect to their children's education records maintained by the school or school district. These rights include inspecting and reviewing the record, seeking to have the record amended, and control over disclosure of information. Parents own the FERPA rights of their child until the child turns 18 or enters a post-secondary institution. However, colleges can release a student's education record to both parents if at least one of them claims the student for tax purposes. When it comes to the difference between education records and directory information, it is important to note that FERPA prevents disclosure of information from a student's education record, but it does not prevent disclosure of directory information. Directory information is personally identifiable information contained in a student's education record that would not generally be considered harmful or an invasion of privacy if disclosed. Personal identifiable information is information that alone or in combination would generally allow a person to be identified. Parents have the right to opt out of the disclosure of a student's directory information. An education record is a record that is directly related to a student and is maintained by the school district or a third-party vendor on behalf of the school. A third-party vendor is a website, app, or program that the school utilizes. Examples of information in an education record include students' grades, immunization and health records maintained by the school, disciplinary records, school progress reports, academic or physical testing results, grade point average, and attendance records. Examples of directory information include name, address, phone number, email, date of birth, participation in sports or activities, dates of attendance, grade level, or photograph. It also includes field of study, height and weight of athletic team members, dates of attendance, degrees or awards, previous school, and enrollment status. FERPA clarification. Administrators, educators, parents, and law enforcement officers are often unclear about the law's requirements and exceptions. Third-party vendors. With the explosion of the use of ed tech tools, there's an increased disclosure happening and the data isn't really being protected. Those third-party vendors include those apps, programs, and websites that the school utilizes to enhance learning. However, under FERPA, schools are responsible for what their vendors do with the data. If a vendor unintentionally or accidentally misuses student education records, the school would still be at fault. Surveillance and security cameras. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, more than 80% of public schools in the U.S. use security cameras to monitor students. Cameras may be placed in areas except those where individuals would have a reasonable expectation of privacy. This includes the bathrooms and locker rooms. Images of students captured on surveillance recordings qualify as education records when photos or videos are directly related to a student and maintained by the educational institution. Exceptions to FERPA. When it comes to emergency situations, school or district may disclose PII from education records without appropriate consent in an emergency situation. School districts are allowed to disclose information in compliance with the judicial order to law enforcement. So law enforcement must have a court order before that information can be given to them. International students. The ICE Bureau is permitted to have access to a student's records in order to monitor the state of international students. However, if there is not an issue, so if there is no issue concerning a student who has overstayed their visa, ICE does not have access. So it's only in regards to their visa. Information destruction. Some student information is needed to be preserved indefinitely, such as transcripts, while some information only needs to be preserved for a period of time. Modern electronic data storage devices are extremely resilient, and data recovery techniques and technology are highly advanced. This is why that disclosure of information with EdTech tools is happening. There are three categories of destruction: clear, purge, and destroy. Clear provides the least amount of assurance, while destroy provides the most. Districts often establish own record retention policies, such as the time frame for destruction. Tips for teachers. It is the duty of all school employees to comply to FERPA. Know the rights, protections, and exceptions. It is the job of every school employee to learn and understand FERPA. Be careful with technology used in lessons. Don't use websites that require your students to enter personal information unless it has been approved by the district. Keep student data secure. Encrypted files and emails cannot be accessed without a key, which adds an extra layer of protection. If you're able to do this, please think about using it. Don't disclose information to the wrong people. Check your student's education record so you know who your student's legal guardian is. Our district's policies. So an overview of our policy is that the district does maintain electronic student and staff records on district-controlled servers, controlled third-party servers, and contracted third-party servers, and web-based or cloud servers. With all of those servers, the district takes steps to ensure that the confidentiality and privacy of the student and staff are maintained provided by the state and federal law. In the Millard School District, our student directory information includes the student's first and last name, grade level, participation in sports and activities, weight and height of members of athletic team, degrees and awards received, and photographs. There is a few pieces of information that we do not consider student directory information, and we try to keep protected. Third-party vendors. At no time will the district information or student information maintained by the contracted third-party vendor be deemed the property of the service. The information will always belong to the district. Upon termination of the contract with the third-party vendor, and after the information has been returned, the vendor will provide the district with a statement that all known copies of information have been destroyed. Those are just some ways that we keep our students safe here at school. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. Here are my references. I've also provided a copy of the presentation so you are able to review at any time. Have a great day.